Welcome to ClarkZapper.net. I'm going to help you build a zapper today. Here we have the box that contains all the parts. I get this zapper kit from PositiveOffset.com. Inside the box you will find the instruction sheet, your electronic parts, alligator leads, and the breadboard. I'm going to keep my box. Later on, when it's all put together, I can put the circuit right inside here, and this will become my zapper. I want to open up this bag with all the parts and organize them into groups. Inside the bag you'll find these little color-coded resistors, a 555 CMOS timer, a little red LED, some 2 disc capacitors, an on-off switch, little jump wires to connect the circuit together, a 9-volt battery snap, and then short red and black output wires. The first step of building your zapper is going to require diagram A. So grab your instructions and we're going to install the CMOS timer into the breadboard. Now you will notice that the breadboard has got letters and numbers in a grid system. We're going to use that to place everything in its proper spot. So step 1, you have to find the top of the 555 timer. See in my illustration there's a little white dot that marks the top of the timer? This object has that. So once you've established where that little circle is on the 555, then we know that this top one is leg number 1, 2, 3, 4, and it jumps over 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's the numbers of the legs. This illustration matches the 555 timer. So if pin 1 is this top left one by the circle, that inserts at E8. And we're going to cross this little channel here with the 555 timer. So 4 of the legs will be on this side of the channel, 4 of the legs will be on that side of the channel. So if pin 1 inserts at E8, we'll find E8 on the grid. And we have to work this into the other side. It pops right into place, and we have now crossed this little channel with a 555 timer. Okay, step 2 in the instructions would be the small jump wires. These little color wires need to be added to the board. So the instructions will tell us that a white jump wire goes from E3 to the positive. So I'm going to use this row of positive for all of my positive, and I'm going to use this row of negative over here for all of my ground, all my negative. So if I'm going from E3 to positive, I just need to find E3, and then I got to get that piece over here to anywhere in that positive channel. I'm going to use my needle nose pliers to help me push those pointy wires into place. There, so that's now E3 to the positive. Now the next jump wire would be a gray. And the gray is going from C3 to C11. So we gotta find C3. And then we need to make this end go into C11. Now we need a little red from A8 to the ground. So from A8 over here to this negative channel. Now that's connected. Another red goes from J8 to the positive. So there's J8. This is my positive channel over here. Now I need the blue jump wire to go from D9 to D15. D9 to D15. Now we need the orange wire to go from E15 to F15. E15 to F15 crosses that little channel. Now my green jump wire will go from G10 to G15. G10 to G15. Now my last white one will go from F17 to the ground. So F17 is right here. And this negative channel, any place over there. Push those down using a tool like that. So that, and we're going to leave this long red jump wire for the switch later. So that is how we've done step 2. Step 3. Now we'll add the switch. And we're going to add the 9-volt battery connector, this battery snap. But we're not going to attach a battery yet. Another note, most of these switches have 3 connectors. We're going to not use one of them on the outside. So we're going to use the middle one and any one of the other 2. And then one of them will be the off, and the other 2 will connect the circuit. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take our battery snap here, the battery connector, and we're going to attach the red wire to the middle prong of the on-off switch. Now this could be soldered in place if you have a soldering iron. It would be much better soldered than just bent on, but you can bend this on for a good connection. There. Now the next thing I'm going to do, the next step, is to take this long red jump wire that was left over, and we're going to attach this to one of the outside prongs. So we've attached this red battery snap wire to the middle. Now we're going to attach this other little red wire to one of the outside prongs. So I'm going to attach this in there. And I'm going to bend this with my needle nose pliers. And if they're too close together, you can bend this prong out so that they don't short one another. So there I've attached to those prongs on the switch. Now we connect our switch and battery connector. The red will go to this red channel down here to the positive. And then the black end will go into the negative row over here. And that will power our circuit later on. But I'm not going to attach a battery yet. I'm going to complete the circuit before we attach a battery. Here we have diagram B. We're going to need all of our 1/4 watt resistors. We have resistors, and the way to tell which is which is by the color coding. All of them have a gold band on the bottom. So once you put your gold band on the bottom, you read from top to bottom. This one's brown, black, red, gold. That's a 1K ohm resistor. The kit comes with 2 of those. We have 2 of those. Brown, black, red, gold. Then the very next resistor we're going to need is going to be a 2.2 k ohm, and that resistor is red, red, red gold. That one's easy to find. Then the 39 k ohm resistor. Here we have it. We have a 39 k ohm resistor. This one is orange, white, orange, gold. Pretty easy to find that one too. Now this last one we're going to need is our 4.7 k ohm resistor. Now this one is difficult because it's yellow, violet, red, gold. The gold and the yellow are real similar, but you'll be able to tell them apart once it's in your hands. It's yellow, violet, red, gold. And that's the 4.7. Now the kit also comes with 2 extra 270 k ohm resistors if you want to build the 1000 hertz circuit. I'm going to build the 30 kilohertz circuit, so I'm going to put those 2 away. Those are red, violet, yellow, gold. Now to install these resistors into the breadboard, you need to turn them into what I call hairpins. So you hold this up so that the gold is on the bottom. We've got a 1K resistor, which is brown, black, red, gold. I'm just going to bend the top right over. And then it's like a hairpin shape, like this. All I gotta do is even it up. So I take my wire snippers. Now this is an easy thing to put into the board. So my 1K ohm resistor needs to go into A2 to A10. So here we have A2 to A10. Right there. There it is. A2 to A10. And now these can go in either way. They don't have a polarity. So just as long as you're getting them in to where they belong, you're good. Now the next 1K ohm resistor, which is another brown, black, red, gold, goes from G8 to J9. So G8 is where I'm going to put this. So G8 is where I'm going to begin. G8. And then that's going to J9. Right there. Now I need a 2.2 k ohm resistor, which is our red, 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 gold. That's pretty easy to see. I'm going to bend them over. Clip it even. And the red, 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 gold goes from B10 to B14. So there's B10. And there's B14. I'm going to do the 39 k ohm resistor. That's orange, white, orange, gold. And that goes from E2 to the positive. So I'm going to have to find the E2 right there. And then this will go all the way over here to this positive row. Over there. There we go. And the very last 4.7 k ohm resistor is the yellow, violet, red, gold. That one jumps between G9 and J10. G9 and J10. There it is. There's the 5 resistors for setting up a 30 kilohertz Hulda Zapper. So far, so good. Alright, now we're going to move on to diagram C. You're going to need these 0.0047 UF capacitors, and you're going to need the red LED. Now these capacitors just need to be kind of removed from their packaging. So you strip them from all this extra paper and tape that's on them. Step 1 is we're going to insert a 0.0047 UF capacitor from H10 to J17. So H10 to J17. All the way down here. There. Try not to let the wires short each other out by touching each other, so kind of move them out of each other's way. We have one more of these. So step 2 would be insert the second 0.0047 UF capacitor at H11 to I17. So H11 to I17. Right here next to the one I just put in. There's my capacitors. Here's the LED. You'll see that one leg of the LED is shorter than the other. What you need to know with this one, because most of the other parts can poke in either way and it doesn't matter. This one has a negative. The short one's negative right here. The short wire is negative and the long one's positive. So when we're putting them into the breadboard, we just need to know that the shorter one is the minus and the longer one is the plus. So we insert the negative into the ground, but the positive long one goes into A14. So take this long one, bend it a little bit, stick it into A14, and then all we need to do is get this short leg into anywhere in the ground. And there's our LED. Now we move on to diagram D. Supplies that are needed will be your alligator leads. And you're going to need a 9-volt battery that's not included in the kit, so you're going to have to get yourself a 9-volt battery. So what we do is we need to connect our clips to the board, but we want to have outputs. The kit also has a black and red wire. These are our output wires. That way we can just clip the clips to them. There are several ways to use these output wires. The first thing you need to do is bare some of the wire with a wire cleaning tool. So I'm going to clean off a short amount and a long amount. The short amount will be for sticking in to the breadboard, and the long amount will be for clipping to. So what I've done here is I've got these output wires. The red output, the positive output of the zapper is found at B2. So at B2, you put your red output wire. And then anywhere in the ground channel is where you'll be able to have your black wire. So I can just put this black wire right into the negative row. So these are our outputs to our zapper now. And they're long because what you can do is, when you're done and you want to build your zapper into this box, you can poke holes and then these wires just come out of the box and you clip your alligator clips to them, some such thing. I'll show you that later. but these are basically what you'll be clipping to. So for now, I'm going to shorten them a little bit. And then I'm going to test my zapper. I'm going to connect the battery here. I'm going to connect this battery on. I'm going to throw the switch, and my little LED will turn on. So that means I have a working zapper circuit. I'm making sure that all these wires are not crossed or touching each other. So I'm going to turn this zapper off, and I'm going to show you how to put it into this box so that you have your circuit contained in a much better situation. I'm going to take the battery off. Now, this circuit will rest inside this box. It even has a peel and stick sticker on the bottom if you want to stick it right in there permanently. And then once I'm in there, I'm going to run these outputs and the on-off switch through the box. Now this flap, you don't want to put anything on the flap side because the flap side doesn't allow it. You want to work on the inside of the box. That's why the sticker on the box faces you in this way. So, if you're working on it and you've got the sticker facing you, you're good. I'm just going to use my tool here and I'm going to just poke a hole for the on-off switch right in the middle. There it is, my on-off switch hole. And I'm going to put like holes for the output wires on the sides. And I also need a little teeny hole near the bottom for the LED so I can see the light. So I'm also going to poke another hole right there so the little LED can poke up. So put in my circuit. The LED will come through the bottom hole. I'm going to put my output wires. Like so. There we go. Now I just have to add the screw to hold this in place. Here's the little nut that holds this bolt in place. On off. So after I get all these, the LED, on-off switch, and the output cables on there, it's time for me to attach my battery. The battery will go inside the box. I can close the box. And then what I can do is, you can see the LED turns on down there. You just attach cables to your output wires, wrap your copper pipes in damp paper towel, and attach them to your alligator wires. I'm going to turn the switch, LED lights up. I have a Hulda Clark Zapper. Well, thanks for coming to clarkzapper.net. Good luck.